All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we are going to examine Hammurabi's code. Okay, um, you're gonna see the kind of laws this guy created. These are the first laws ever made in the history of the world, and there's something significant about them, guys. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so here is your warm-up picture. Now, this one has um, been known to be one of the more difficult warm-up pictures because I ask you first question, what do you see? Okay, there's four images around um, the statue. A couple of these you might know, you might interpret it pretty well, but there might be one or two that you might have trouble with. So try your best. Okay, in class, I went through a couple of them with the other students. Sadly, I can't do that with you on the video because remember, this is only going one way. I can't hear you if you're saying something to me. So just try your best. If you have someone around, try to ask them, what do they see? What do they think that item, that picture represents? Okay, so good luck. Okay, answer the first two questions. All right, and get ready for the notes. All right, so Mesopotamia, it literally means land between two rivers. Okay, most early civilizations they tended to live near a river because river brought fresh water, right? Mesopotamia basically, when they created the city, they doubled down. They basically said we want to be between two rivers, the Tigris River and the Euphrates River. We want them on both sides of us, left and right. The problem is that sometimes these rivers, once the rain comes in and once the weather starts picking up, the water level can rise. And in that case, because they're between two rivers, the water could seep into the town and flood it. So what they did is they learned how to control the flow of the water. Use irrigation and a draining system to navigate the water so that the city did not get flooded. Okay. Now remember, you're going to hear these terms quite a bit for the next like month or so. City states. These are cities big enough to maintain political and economic control over their areas. So in a sense, they're kind of like their own little nation, but they're basically cities. Okay. But they're just at this time they're big enough to where they could be their own nation. Okay. And again, for the next like month or so, you're going to hear quite a bit about how these city states fought each other over land and water. Now, um, I've had some students tell me, how many people lived back then? And it's like, no, several million. How many people live today? About 8 billion. And they're like, well, are you telling me that these guys can't find anywhere else to live? It's like, well, yeah, there are other places to live, but it's like traveling to the unknown. They don't know how far if they go walk up north, how far it'll be till they find some water or food. They have no idea, so they tend to stick to where they know. Okay. All right. So an empire, it's a large political unit or state. It usually has one leader, but sometimes it can be controlled by a committee, or a group of people. The world's first emperor was this guy right here, the one you see the little statues of. His name was Sargon. Okay, he was a leader of the Akkadians. Thing is, he overran the Sumerian city-state in 2340. Now, his empire came to an end in 2100 BC. So his empire basically lasted for 240 years. So it's not that bad if you look at the whole history of the world. His empire did last quite a bit. All right. So Now we come to Hammurabi. Hammurabi, which is the guy you see right there in that statue, excuse me, he took control over two city-states and created the Mesopotamian kingdom. Okay, now he died in 1750s, and all the other kings after him, they basically sucked. They were not as wise as him, nor as powerful, nor as committed as he was. So the empire just went down, 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 and eventually went away. Um, and it became easy to attack. Now, the significance of Hammurabi isn't that he had a kingdom, it's that he decided, you know what? People would talk like, oh, what's the punishment for someone stealing something? Uh, I don't know, cut off their hand. No, no, no. It's they have to replace what they stole and a little extra. Or no, they have to work to pay it off. So there was no real set laws. It was all people. Well, I think it's this. I heard it's that. I believe it's this. So Hammurabi basically said, okay, we need to have it written down. So when people ask what the law is, it's there. You can look it up. It's right there for you. So here's a couple of examples of Hammurabi's code. Um, one of them is if someone steals property from a temple or a court, they get put to death. And here's the best part: if you, let's say, were bought the stuff from this person, you will be put to death as well. Now, I'm sure some people are like, wait, 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 why would that the person who bought it be put to death? The person who stole it should be put to death, not the person who bought it. Hammurabi basically goes, you should already know. Why are you buying from this guy? He's not doesn't have a market. He isn't selling that kind of stuff. This is some dude trying to sell things. You should know this is hot stuff. This is stolen, you know. And if you do know and you still buy it, you're just as guilty as that guy. So you should be put to death too. Another one, which I thought was interesting, it says that if a son strikes his father, his hand shall be sawn off. So cut that hand off. Now, thing is, you have to remember, at this time, the parents didn't just come home and decide, you know what, I'm going to beat on my kid. No, it was usually for a purpose. Did the kid do something? Did they destroy something? Things like that. It wasn't just because, hey, you looked at me, I'm going to do this to you. No. So, just in case the parents, discipline their child and their child strikes them back, Hammurabi's like, no, 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 no. No, which hand did you hit him with? Your left or right? Oh, my right hand. Okay, cut it off. Okay. Now, the thing is, his laws weren't exactly equal to both sides. Okay. So, what I mean by that is that, let's say Bill Gates came to our school and started slapping people around, right? He would get punished under Hammurabi's law. But if someone hit him back, their punishment would be so much more worse than Bill Gates slapping you. Bill Gates would still get punished, but you would receive a harsher punishment because Bill Gates is higher up than us. Again, Bill Gates would get punished, but his punishment would not be as bad as if we struck him back, which if somebody did, they would suffer the consequences. Now, the code had laws about several things. Consumer protection. They try to protect the buyers from people selling crooked things, bad things, stuff like that. They had laws about marriage and family. What do you do? How are you supposed to? When are you supposed to marry? Things like that. Men's rights, of course, they mentioned that. Women's rights. This was something unique because there was mention of women's rights. Now, granted, it wasn't like full on, full equality between men and women. It wasn't. But the first laws of the world mention women. Pretty interesting. The placement at the home. You know, like what are you supposed to do when you have a family and this and that? What's a wife's job, the child's job, things like that. And then what's a father's role over his children and his wife? You know, what's his responsibility? Okay, so they had a lot of laws for a lot of different things. All right, so here is your next two questions. The first one says, why do you think Hammurabi's code had rights for women? Interesting. Why do you think that? Why do you think he had codes that are laws that basically said women had rights? Okay. The second question asks you, why do you think future civilizations, the Greeks, Romans, the English, stuff like that, why do you think they had little to no rights for women? Why? The first laws basically had rights for women. Again, not equality of men and women are equal. No, they didn't have that. But it was still quite a bit compared to future uh, future civilizations. So why do you think they didn't have that for women? Okay, so take a moment, write down your responses. Now we're moving on in three, two, one. All right. On your paper at the very bottom, there should be a thing that says exit ticket. I just looked and there's the slide's gone. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I didn't save it, but just tell me as your exit ticket something you learned today, something you found fascinating, interesting, something you never heard before, but now you know. Now you know. So tell me, okay? So once you do that, you are done for this class, okay? So I really, really, really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new. Um, Next class or next video, we'll be talking about um, the Sumerians and the Egyptians. Okay, so hope to see you in class. Hope you get to watch the video. You guys take care and you be safe, all right?